good evening. I call to order the Lake Havasu City Regular Council meeting on Tuesday, September 10th, 2019 at 6 p.m. We'll have an invocation by Pastor Andrew Cave with the Lamb of God Lutheran Church, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by the Havasu Community Health Foundation Food Bank Colleen Madison.
The Apostle Paul writes, "First of all, then, I urge that supplications, prayers, intercessions, and thanksgivings be made for all people, for kings and all who are in high positions, that we may lead a peaceful and quiet life, godly and dignified in every way." Let us pray. O God, you have established earthly authority for our good. We therefore lift our prayers to you, asking for your hand to be upon these leaders, to grant them wisdom and understanding to govern according to your will, so that we may lead lives which are peaceful, quiet, godly, and dignified in every way. Through Jesus Christ our Lord, who lives and reigns with you and the Holy Spirit, one God, now and forever. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And Colleen, if you want to share a little bit about your organization.
Okay, I am with the Havasu Community Health Foundation Food Bank. On September 17th, we will be open 1 year. We are now serving 1,000 families in the city. And again, I always want to thank the city for giving us that building. Well, not giving it to us, but you know what I mean.
Yes.
It's in a perfect location. It's great. It's the right size. It has the right parking. It's just worked out wonderful, and we are reaching so many people. We're going to be having, September is Hunger Awareness Month. And we are going to be having a 1-year anniversary and drawing awareness to hunger on the September 19th of when they do the car show on McCulloch. So I'd like to invite everybody to that. But I would also like to make a plea with the public to be not so judgmental of who they think is going to the food bank. Now that we're at the number of 1,000, I hear lots of comments of, oh, I see cars in that parking lot that, you know, why are they at the food bank if they're driving that? Or I know where that person lives, and why would they be going to the food bank if they live there? And you never know what hard times has fallen on somebody that could have caused them to be there. Could be a death in the family, lost a spouse, a loss of a job, and maybe they did have the funds for that car at that time. Maybe they're living in that car. Maybe that's not even their car. Maybe someone drove them there, you know. And I did hear a comment just in the last week that all we see are nice cars in the front. Well, all of the staff parks in the front. All of the clients park in the back. You know, people are so judgmental, and it really, they shouldn't be. And I would like to urge anyone that thinks that we are just randomly feeding people that don't deserve food to spend a day at the food bank and hang out with us for 1 day, and you will see that we are not wasting your money or your resources. We are being good stewards of what you have allowed us to have to share with our community. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Colleen, where is the food bank located? What is the address? And what hours are you open if someone wanted to take a tour?
The food bank is at 1980 North Kiowa Boulevard. We are open to the public Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday from 10 to 1. I can always make allowances for anybody that cannot make it during those times. We do have a clothing closet in there as well. Nothing costs anyone anything. We do get random donations of, I don't know, appliances or books or kids' toys, just strange things, and they're always just out there, toiletries for them just to help themselves too. And I feel that we do a good job stewarding what is put in our hands to give out.
Excellent.
Thank you.
All right, next item on the agenda is the roll call.
Council members Cal Sheehy.
Here.
David Lane.
Here.
Jenny Koch. Here. Gordon Grove.
Here.
Michelle Lynn.
Here.
Donna McCoy.
Here.
Jim Dolan.
I'm here.
All right, the next item on the agenda is our call to the public. This is the opportunity where citizens have to address City Council on any matter within the jurisdiction of the city. If you'd make your way to the podium, there is a light indicator box. Green means go, yellow means you have 1 minute, and red means that the 3 minutes for the call to the public are up. If you want to talk to City Council about any item that's on the agenda tonight, I encourage you to wait till that time so we can have a two-way conversation. You do not have to sign up to speak at the call to the public, but we did have two folks do that. So we'll start with those, and then we'll open it up to anyone else that would like to address us after that. So we'll first start with Holly Dove, if you'd like to make your way to the podium.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and City Council. I would like to extend an invitation to all of you and the general public to come out to a breakfast meet and greet with Mark Kelly. He's a candidate for U.S. Senate in 2020. This will be held at the Quality Inn, 271 Lake Havasu Avenue South, on Friday, the 20th of September, from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. He will speak about his vision for the future of America and to hear what issues our citizens would find important. And he will be in Mojave County all day. After leaving Lake Havasu City, there are meet and greets in Bullhead for lunch and Kingman for dinner. So this is his Mojave County push. So please take this opportunity to become acquainted with this Democratic candidate for U.S. Senate. The Lake Havasu City visit is sponsored by the Democratic Association of Havasu, and for more information, you can call 928-230-4931. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, the next person that signed up is Betty Smith, if you'd like to make your way to the podium.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council members. My name is Betty Smith, and I reside in the Malibu community located on the island. My reason for being here this evening is in regards to the Grand Island Park being transferred to the residents on the island. Approximately 4 years ago, some residents in my community felt the need to have gates installed at the entrances into our community. We were told that due to the need access into the community park, the gates would only be allowed to be closed based on Lake Havasu City Park hours. This didn't set too well with the HOA president and the committee. As additional talk continued regarding the subject, the city manager, and I'm not going to be exactly correct, I don't know one way or the other whether it was the city manager and or the mayor, and I don't know if it was you, I recall it was one or the other, said that he had a solution for this whole problem, and that is that the city wanted to get rid of the park and they would turn it over as a gift, free, to the residents in the community. I mean, we were all just in a state of disbelief. To date, we still have no resolution to the park status. The one thing I do know is that there are many, many residents in the area unhappy with the proposal. At our HO meeting Friday, September 6th, the HOA president introduced a gentleman who provided preliminary landscape plans for the park, including a pool to be placed over by where the current restroom facilities are located, and also along with a lot of talk about walls. I'm sorry. Here's one of the renderings, and these were easel size that we were presented with. And here's another one in another area that they were talking about. Okay. Voicing my concerns, I felt it necessary to allow the residents an opportunity to vote about the park talk, and I was told by the HO president to be quiet, and a vote wasn't needed by the members in the community to do what they were wanting to do with the park situation. We were also told that Sienna Villa was on board with the park takeover. And I know for 100% certainty that that isn't true. I have a very dear friend who lives in the community who is personal friends with the president of the HOA, and he and their committee have been requesting additional information, trying to find out what's going on with the park. So they're not 100% on board. And this was total disgust, and everybody was in awe of thinking that I would have brought a mole, so to speak, to the meeting. Okay, I contacted the Park and Recreations Department. They were very helpful and said they had absolutely no plans on releasing the park. I also contacted the city manager's office and left a message. They in turn emailed the Park and Recreations manager and asked that he call me. Mike did call me today and was very, very pleasant on the phone, and I've always been very, very pleased with any concerns I've had regarding things that I've seen that need to be taken care of in the park, and they've been excellent, I have to add. Bottom line, I would like some clarification once and for all from the city of Lake Havasu. Is the city transferring the Grand Island Park over to the residents on the island? I would like to thank you for your time this evening, and I have put up with this and listened to this for so long. I came out here from California thinking to have peace, and for the first 4 years of my life there, I was in total paradise. Now I feel like I'm in California. So if anything you can help me learn, I would be grateful, and I'm sure some of the residents in the area would also be appreciative. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for your feedback. This is not on the agenda, so we can't talk about it, but the status of the park is that it's a city park, and it remains a city park. So would anyone else like to address the city council on any matter during the call to the public? Seeing none, we'll close the call to the public. Moving on to item 6 is the consent agenda. Would any of the council members like to remove any item for separate discussion?
Mayor?
Yes.
Motion?
Yes.
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second the motion, Mr. Mayor.
We have a motion from Councilmember Koch and a second from Councilmember Dolan. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we are ready to vote.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is item 7, correspondence, communications, petitions, announcements, and the city manager report. Item 7.1 is announced vacancies on the Lake Havasu City boards, committees, and commissions. Ms. Williams.
Mayor and City Council, there are several vacancies on Lake Havasu City boards, committees, and commissions. The following is a listing of those vacancies. Airport Advisory Board, 1 regular pilot member. Board of Adjustment, 3 regular members, 3 alternate members. And the Public Safety Personnel Retirement System, 1 regular member. Applications are available on the city's website, and they are also available at City Hall.
Thank you. Item 7.2 is the city manager's report. Mr. Knudsen.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'd like to start off this the city manager's report with an update about the ribbon cutting from last week. We had staff from Unisource Energy Services and Esme Electric met members of the city council and city staff at Mesquite Park to celebrate the installation of a new shade structure with a solar-powered shade structure and a ribbon cutting ceremony. The shade structure was donated by Unisource, provides shade while offsetting the facility's energy costs with the solar panels on top of the structure. Unisource assumed all the costs to install the solar system and shade structure, and the city installed the picnic tables underneath the structure for seating and a gathering space. The splash pad and park are used by the community, and we're happy to partner with Unisource to provide our residents with more amenities at this location. The Coffee with the Mayor and City Manager event has grown in numbers over the past 7 years. Last week, we had nearly 100 people attend the event at the Mojave County Library to hear about city updates and allow the opportunity for citizens to engage the mayor and city manager with concerns and questions. The first coffee was held in October of 2013, and I was at Mackay Cafe, and we had about 20 people in attendance. The next coffee with the mayor and city manager will be at the Senior Center. It'll take place on October 4th, and we're back to our regular scheduled time of 8:30 a.m., 8:30 to 10 o'clock. We look forward to seeing the public at the next coffee meeting, but in the meantime, all residents have access to the mayor, the council, myself, the city website, the Havasu Now app, and city staff throughout the week. If you have questions or concerns, don't wait. Please reach out. We want to help. Just yesterday, Senator Sonny Borelli and House Representative Leo Biasucci joined Mayor Sheehy and Vice Mayor Dave Lane to celebrate Albert Long's 100th birthday and present him with a proclamation proclaiming September 9th as Albert E. Elroy Long Day in Lake Havasu City. Albert Long served his country as a Marine communication specialist and electrical engineer in World War II, and he is a distinguished recipient of the Purple Heart. Congratulations and happy 100th birthday to Mr. Long. The 9/11 Memorial Ceremony Committee invites the public to attend the official 9/11 Memorial Rededication Ceremony tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. It'll be held at the London Bridge Beach Park. The ceremony commemorates the 18th anniversary of the horrific attack on 9/11 and the loss of nearly 3,000 men, women, and children killed in the attacks on the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and aboard Flight 93. It's hard to believe it's been almost 2 decades since the terror attacks on our American soil, and we will never forget. Please join us tomorrow morning. And lastly, a word about the census. The census counts everyone living in the United States only once every 10 years. The distribution of more than $675 billion in federal funds, grants, that goes to support states, counties, and communities are based on census data. The money is spent on schools, hospitals, cities, and other vital programs, including Lake Havasu City's local roads, our public safety services, parks, and many, many more services. Every 10 years, the results of the census are used to reapportion the House of Representatives and determine how many seats that each state receives. The U.S. Constitution mandates that everyone in the country be counted every 10 years. The first census occurred in 1790. After each decade census, state officials redraw boundaries of the congressional and state legislative districts in our respective states to account for population shifts. As individuals, we pay taxes into the state. With an accurate census count, we can bring those dollars back to Lake Havasu City to support our community and the services we provide to our residents. Census workers have already been canvassing our neighborhoods to update their addressing information and will continue throughout mid-October. Starting in March, there'll be a call for action from every household in Lake Havasu City to complete the census either online, by mail, or by phone. Mayor and Council, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Do any members of the council have any questions for Mr. Knudsen? All right, seeing none. The next item on our agenda is update from Go Lake Havasu for their annual update. Terrence Concanon, if you want to.
Thank you very much for having me. I was in the zone this weekend when I made the presentation, so I do apologize. It is 39 slides. I'm sorry about that. But I'm going to go through them very fast, and I will keep it to time. First, I want to introduce you to the Go team. You guys know them. They're your friends and neighbors, but they're also the storytellers that run this organization and help us make the city great in eyes of our tourists. I do want to point out Colleen Prine. She's been with the organization since she was a child, and she's now the Vice President of Operations. Tara Watkins is our new Director of Creativity. She was the former Events and Marketing Assistant. She is now our Director of Creativity and helps us out with everything creative, including our new all the fun things we're doing at the Visitor Center. And as you can see, Pam Swenson is our travel counselor. Jackie Leatherman is, of course, our Director of Travel, Trade, Marketing, and handles all our events. Jan Cassius is our Director of Visitor Services and does a great job at the Visitor Center. And Jason Castellucci is our Director of New Technology, former the head of Consumer Marketing. I will be taking over Consumer Marketing for the time being, and he will be helping us with some new technologies. We have some new Board of Directors. This, what you see there is the list of our Board of Directors. We do have new ones. Frank Cazares Jr. from the Nautical Beachfront Resort, Christina Gallo from the London Bridge Resort, Heather Petashevsky from Hampton Inn by Hilton, and Chip Shaloski will be returning to join us on the board. So we're very happy to have this board. What we do is we share Lake Havasu City with the world. We do it through a variety of methods: consumer marketing, travel industry marketing, media engagement, and public relations, and my job is advocacy. As you can see, I'm very keen on fiscal responsibility, In fiscal year 2018 and 19, I forecasted revenues of 1.768, and our actual revenues were 1.8. So we're very happy to have that overage. Forecasted expenses were at short of 1.7. We kept it down to less than 1.6. So I'm very proud of that as well. In fiscal year 2019 and 20, I am forecasting revenues of 1,883,608. I'm forecasting expenses of 1,816,078. Very proud of this year's budget, and we've got a lot of new things coming for 2019. Our bed tax and restaurant and bar taxes are at record highs, and that 2019 is pacing ahead of 2018. As you can see right now, we're 6.5% ahead of last year. Advocacy and travel trade marketing, that's what we do. And Jackie handles the travel trade marketing, as do I, but I also handle the advocacy. I stay in touch with the Arizona Office of Tourism on a weekly basis, either speaking with the director or the deputy director. I reach out to the U.S. Travel Association and Brand USA on a monthly basis. And we've just started the Mojave County Tourism Council. This is a function of the Mojave County Economic Development. Tammy Ursenbach and I took it upon ourselves to corral the troops in the county so that we can all speak tell the same story and get itineraries together and make this county as desirable as Lake Havasu is to visit. So travel trade marketing, as you can see there, Jackie's been very busy. She and I attended IPW in Anaheim in June. It was a remarkable experience. We had a full schedule. I've done this thing for 13 years. It's the first time I've ever had a full schedule. 44 travel professionals, 19 travel writers. Jackie also attended the National Travel Association and the American Bus Association Marketplace. As you can see, that's a combined 40 group tour and travel operators right there. Jackie also attended a familiarization tour in Phoenix. With 17 operators and agents. We were hoping to get them out here to Lake Havasu, but it was not in Arizona Office of Tourism's plans. Travel writers. We have hosted 11 domestic travel writers over the last 12 months and 1 international. And Jackie has attended a media mission to Los Angeles and San Diego and spoke with 41 travel writers. Right now, one of the things that is very passionate, and I even put a note here said, be passionate but don't get emotional, Terrence. I even wrote that note to myself. Autism Travel Initiative. All of my staff, all of my full-time staff are now certified autism travel professionals, which means that we, to some extent, understand the challenges that those on the spectrum have and their caregivers. And to that extent, we've worked with IBCCES to take this forward in the city. I'm talking with attractions and organizations to help me with this. I've talked with Cal and the city about finding quiet zones so that those that are on the spectrum and those that are having meltdowns can find some comfort in our city. This is a feel-good thing, but it's also, if you want to look at it cynically, the autism travel market is massive, millions and millions of dollars. So this is one thing where we can feel good about bringing revenue to our area, but also feel good about making people feel comfortable. I did it, I didn't cry. Oops, how did I do that? There we go. So visitors and dining guides, as you're well aware, we do put out a visitor and dining guide every year. We are now going to a 2-year lifespan for our visitors and dining guide. They take up a lot of our time and resources, and we don't have enough development in the area when it comes to hotels, restaurants, and new bars to necessitate doing the visitor guide year over year. So we will be moving to a 2-year plan. We do 200,000 that are distributed throughout the Southwest, and we do 35,000 that are dining guides that are distributed throughout the Colorado River area. So our website, look at these numbers, golakehavasu.com. I'm very proud of my team. They've done a fantastic job of search engine optimization and doing all the right things. As you can see, our domestic and international growth up there is phenomenal. The United States is up 3%, but then look at United Kingdom, look at India, look at Mexico. These are huge numbers. These are, I spend so little money advertising in these areas. This is because of my team's social media posts. It's because of television shows that we've been involved in that are broadcast over in United Kingdom. India shares United Kingdom television, so they got that as well. Germany and the Netherlands and France also watch those shows, and I'll talk about one of those shows later on. Again, go Lake Havasu. This is U.S. City sessions and growth year over year. Lake Havasu City, we're very proud that our own citizens are 30% over last year. But then look at Los Angeles, look at Phoenix, San Diego. We're up all over the place. Chicago area is up 131%. I don't know a reason for that, but I'm still very excited about it. Also, golakehavasu.com has a 100% quality insurance rating from Site Improve, which means there are no typos, there are no bad links, and we are 100% ADA compliant. So we started a new website, Go Hike Havasu microsite. This site is curated by Arizona's top outdoor writer, Roger Naylor, and it focuses on all the trails around Lake Havasu. We also have a LondonBridgeTour.com virtual tour. This is put together by one of my staff members as well. If for those that have mobility challenges or can't make it to Lake Havasu, you can click on this site and take a virtual tour of the English Village and the London Bridge. So consumer marketing and social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram. You can see all of our numbers are looking really good, with the one exception there of being down 20% on likes. I asked my team, and they're still looking into that. We don't have an answer for that. Again, Instagram. Our Instagram only showed us the one stat there, but 36% over last year. I'll take it. Again, Instagram and Pinterest looking up. Social media platforms. We have begun using more user-generated content. I picked this one because it's one of my favorite pictures that we've been using of our users, and kudos to Brenda Powers for that fantastic photo. As you're well aware, that is the back of the London Bridge Plaza buildings. We have another one that is fantastic. Kudos to Karen Wilman on this, another beautiful photo. We've been getting these kind of photos from visitors and from residents alike, and we love them, and they speak to how much our visitors and our community loves our community. So our top Facebook posts of 2019 were, no surprise there, the American flag being draped off the London Bridge. Almost 160,000 people reached. That's massive. Desert Storm with photos by our ASU student that helps us out, Brooke Body. 121 people reached with a 15,000 engagement. Just huge numbers. Event funding and marketing. So that's part of what we do. We have, as you're well aware, we have over 300 events here in Lake Havasu City. It's something that we're known for. And we have a committee that Jackie oversees that funds these events. These funds are a mix of capital or marketing assistance and is focused on the need months of September and through February. These funding decisions are not made by me or my staff. They are made by a committee of people from the community. And our funding focus is on recruiting and retaining long-term events and athletic events, which will have the greatest impact on our tourism revenue. So, emerging events. We've got some fantastic events coming up. For those of you that attended First Friday, we're very excited to be a part of this. It's such a great event, and it's only going to get better. Havasupalooza is going to rock it when it comes up. We've been having some great attention paid to that. Hot for Havasu rocked the boat when it came to getting media coverage. Just a fantastic way to celebrate 25th anniversary of being the hottest city in America. And then Lake Havasu's Farmers Market is something that this community has been asking for a long time. We're very, very happy to help bring that to you. Oh, of course, we had the tourism luncheon. That was a lot of fun. I tried to find any picture that was better than this one, but I couldn't. I look like I'm insane. Todd looks good. But the Spirit of Havasu Award did go to Lake Havasu Gem and Mineral Society. They are the oldest organization, gem and mineral organization in the state, and their event will be celebrating its 50th year this year, so we're very proud of that. Tourism Professional of the Year, you can see him right there, Mr. Todd Taylor of Joker's Wild Productions, and the Spirit of Hospitality Award, which was presented by the Lake Havasu Area Chamber of Commerce, was presented to Debbie Strickland of the Quality Inn and Suites for all the help she's given the Bureau. And just a little side note there, we'd like to thank the Lake Havasu Area Chamber of Commerce for selecting us Business of the Year. Thank you very much. Our Visitor Center. Okay, very exciting. We have over 100,000 visitors that visit our Visitor Center every year. And this year we were certified by Arizona Office of Tourism as an official Arizona Visitor Information Center. So we're very happy about that. The one thing that we couldn't complete was the ADA compliance because it's an old building, but they threw that out because most of the visitor centers in Arizona, as it turns out, 70% of them are in old buildings. So, but we've got some exciting news for you because we're not remodeling, we're not rehabilitating, we are reimagining the visitor center. And so here's just a few pictures that do no justice to what we're doing, but to give you an idea of what we are doing, the stage has been removed to create more square footage. You can see it's not there now. We have a new faux wood tile floors that look fantastic. Our new circular information station, you can see that there on the bottom, is being built to relieve the flow that comes into the visitor center with the desk that used to be right there in the front. We've got fresh paint on the walls right now, and once that paint is dry, we are going to skin the wall, some of the walls, with some fantastic photos from Tara Watkins. It's really going to be something else. We're also going to put some new video monitors in there. I think a total of 8 video monitors, which will tell the story of Havasu and embrace the spirit of our community. We're also going to add, you might wonder, geez, you guys never had an employee restroom in there? No, we never did. And so we're going to add that so that our employees don't have to go to the public restrooms. And the most exciting thing for me is a new exterior LED signage will replace the old movie marquee, and the brand sign will be changed as well. This exterior LED signage will be controllable from our offices on London Bridge Road, and it will be animated, so we can do anything we want at any given time. If you guys want to show city council meetings on that screen, no? Okay. Thank God you said. Okay, media, I know I'm running late. Media highlights, here are some of our top examples. The Lord's Mayor visits London. Estimated reach, 1 million people. We had 127 media outlets in North America and 35 media outlets worldwide cover it pre-event, and post-event, 21 media outlets in North America touched it. So that's a total of 1.2 million people reached for that one event. And then how does city anniversary coverage? 47 media outlets in North America, 7 media outlets worldwide. I think all of those media outlets worldwide were in the UK except for one. That estimated reach of 540,000 people. Huge. We've had some great successes in print as well. As you can see, we are on Spirit of the West, which is one of the most popular German travel publications. I love that cover and I love that picture. Los Angeles Times travel section. I know a lot of people in Havasu don't care for Los Angeles, but to make the Los Angeles Times travel section front page is huge. And we were there twice this year, Hot for Havasu and the hottest city in America. We were the #1 Lake City for water sports in Men's Journal, best beach in every state in Reader's Digest, 7 best cities to live the van life and livability. AZ Central loves us, best bodies of water for cooling off, top 10 places for end of summer road trips. Okay, so those are some of the highlights, but we've been all over the place when it comes to media. We've been in the Overland Journal, Los Angeles Times, the Kiplinger newsletter, the WestJet magazine, which is the second most popular in-flight magazine in Canada. We've been in Reader's Digest and Fodor's Travel. We've been in Route magazine, and we are looking forward to a cover story about Havasu coming up in January, I believe. We've been in VIA, CaliforniaGolfer.com, The Londonist, which is a website for those that are Londonophiles, Arizona Highways, and interestingly enough, Part Catalog. We were the top 5 off-road trails. So Bradley Walsh and Son, this is a huge show that was here, stopped in Havasu. Bradley Walsh is a British personality. His son and he came driving across the country, stopped in Havasu to see the London Bridge. It was a lot of fun. That episode had 5 million viewers. So broadcasting cable, get back to it. We were on the Ellen Show, the Food Network, Counting Cars, Channel 3 in Las Vegas, Channel 15 in Phoenix, Channel 3 in Phoenix, the Weather Channel, and the Rachel Ray Show. And if I have enough time, I'm not going to show you this one because this is actually 4 minutes long. Do I have enough time? Yeah. I do? Okay. This is the Matador Network. This, maybe not. Okay. Dang. Well, the next one I want to show you, if it shows, and I'll just talk about them in case it doesn't show. So one thing that I tasked Tara with doing, our director of creativity, is coming up with videos, coming up with memories that people can have before they even get here. I asked her to show not just the loudness and the whiz-bang of our city, but to show the parts that people don't see, like the solitude. So I'm hoping that this will show, and if it has sound, it would be amazing too. Okay, what's coming up in 2019? As I said, a reimagined visitor center, our first visitor study in 5 years, greater engagement among county stakeholders so that we can tell a cohesive story, expanded tourism luncheon and awards, expanded web pages for water sports and fishing. We hope to take over the CTA network before the end of the year. We'll be hiring a new position to take over programs, and more visitors and more reasons to love Lake Havasu. And I do have one more video that I want to show you. I was afraid that if I show this, every time I see this in my office, honestly, I get emotional. One, because it's beautiful. Two, because it makes me so proud to be a Havasuvian. Three, because it was made by one of my staff members. Now, it's not going to flow like it does in my office, so there's no way I'm going to get emotional on this, but I do want you to see this because it is amazing. This is advice from Lake Havasu. Thank you to City Council for everything you do to make the city great, and thank you to Jess Knutson for inviting me here. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
More than happy to take any
Yeah,
questions.
do any
from you or
members of the
public.
council have any questions for Terrence?
Well, Mr. Mayor, I
Yes,
have a couple
Councilmember
questions.
Gross.
First of all, thank you very much. It's always exciting when you come to visit us. I love to see all the great things that your organization's doing. I took a lot of notes. I was really happy to see the amount of engagement you had with tour operators was really kind of neat to hear about. I think you met with like 17 at this recent conference. You had 41 travel writers. So these people are writing major magazines, and then you started talking about your web metrics, which was really kind of cool. I don't know how granular you get into that, like checking out, what your bounce rates are, what their content is that they're looking
I don't,
at.
but my staff is all over
So
that.
you're all over that.
Yeah.
So to me, that's just so exciting that you're able to peel that back. The reason I say that is because, people who come here love it. People who see it love it. But if they don't come here and they haven't had that experience, what do they have? They only have what they can reach out and touch online. They've got to be able to see it, hear it, and so on and so forth. And obviously you get that and you're bringing that there. So that's really super cool. You're going to do a visitor study, an engagement study.
Yes, in the spring.
Can you give me an idea what it looks like in terms of what are your plans for how you're going to get people to do that? Like, are you going to offer a prize? Have you guys talked about that? What's going on?
We're going to engage a company that we engaged with before, Prism. So I can't speak to how they plan on doing it. Cal, do you remember that study? You might want to, how they did it in the past. I've just now engaged in conversation with them.
Yeah, so this is a 5-year update. The current visitor study is available actually at the golakehavasu.com website in the About section. Yeah, but they use a variety of different engagement from the list that the Bureau has collected over the years, as well as incentives for new consumers to be able to complete the survey.
Okay, and then the other thing I wanted to ask ties into, we have a lot of temporary residents who live here during the wintertime. Interestingly enough, I mean, we know there's a gazillion of them from Canada, but apparently there's a lot of them who are from Germany too. And so you're starting to see some of that crop up in your information. Can you offer any insight on that, number one? And then number two, you're having massive number increases in your views. It was over 100% coming from Mexico. We know from the state tourism office and state travel trends that we're getting a lot more tourism that's happened from that sector that we haven't seen before. Can you speak to that?
Well, it's exactly what you said. When I saw that number, I reached out to Arizona Office of Tourism, and they said the same thing. They're seeing those kind of numbers on their sites, just a huge engagement from south of the border. When it comes to Canada, I'm not sure I understood your question, Councilmember Grote.
Oh, well, it was really more related to like the Germany piece, because I mean, we know that there's like a gazillion Canadian, they have a Canadian club here, and you can't fit them in a library because there's too many of them. It's like huge. So there's a lot of Canadians who own properties here who spend their winters with us. Most of them come from Western Canada. So you were hitting it out of the park when you were on WestJet. Okay, so that's the big airline in the western part, and that's where we're going to get most of our visitors and residents. Yeah, why Germany? What's going on there? I'm curious about that.
Just by nature, Germans are, when they travel, they love the American Southwest, and so they travel out here. They love the heat. They come during the summer because you can't experience this kind of heat even in northern Africa. But the increases we're seeing, again, are right in line with Arizona Office of Tourism. I don't know why they're moving here. I do know that they see that they have similar interests to the British. I do know that they have, obviously, like every other European country, they get a tremendous amount of time off, and they get incentivized to travel out of the country. So I just think I honestly think if I'm allowed to brag, I don't think I know that this engagement is because my staff, we do 12 to 20 Facebook posts, not Facebook, social media posts across all platforms every day. We are just hammering people with the right information. We are telling stories that are evocative, that make people want to learn more. And I think that translates to culture after culture after culture. And I think that the German and the European countries are really keen to make the American Southwest their go-to place to escape, not to escape, but to provide a difference to Europe. I think it's just a matter of Go Lake Havasu, Arizona Office of Tourism, some of my other DMOs like Mesa, really hitting it out of the park when it comes to international tourism. On top of that, Councilmember Grote, we've also entered into some marketing, cooperative marketing things in Europe, in the UK, and so I'm not going to say that those little co-ops that we're working on are bringing all these numbers, but I think all these efforts combined are really making us shine in Europe.
I just want to say real quickly, you're perfectly allowed to brag. I think it's awesome what you're doing. And I just want to compliment your leadership because apparently you're leading the organization in a manner that's actually getting some really cool things happening. And I bet, even though we didn't see that number here, that the impact to our community in terms of dollars and cents, in terms of different forms of tax revenues and so on and so forth. You think about tax revenues in your government, but more importantly, let's think about it in terms of what does this mean to the people who are serving these people in our community? What does it mean to jobs? What does that look like? And that's huge. So I have no idea how much money that all translates to. I just know that we're getting a really good value here, and I just love the fact that you brought it to us.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the council? All right, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work. All right, we'll move on to item 8, our public hearings. We'll start with 8.1, which is a Class B bingo license application for the Veterans of Foreign Wars, Post 9401, 266 London Bridge Road. Ms. Williams.
Mayor and City Council, Mr. Dennis Dickey has applied for a series or a Class B bingo license for VFW Post 9401. The bingo games will be held once a week on Friday mornings at 9 a.m. located at 266 London Bridge Road. All fees have been paid and no objections were received. Happy to answer any questions, and the applicant is also in attendance tonight.
Thank you. Do any members of the council have any questions?
Yes, sir, I do. If I may.
Yes.
For the VFW, will these bingo games be open to the public or only to VFW members?
And if you could make your way to the podium actually and state your name for the clerk, if you will, and you can answer Vice Mayor Lane's question, please.
Yeah, my name is Dennis Dickey, and I am the quartermaster for VFW Post 9401. As it stands right now, this is primarily set up for our members. At such date, a later date on the thing, if possible, we might be able to do something other than that. But right now, the whole purpose of this is to assist our veterans, okay? Give them something to do and to basically supply necessary information to our veterans. So it's primarily for the veterans. We also have an open door thing with the American Legion on that. So, but right now, that's where we're at with it. And all we're wanting to do is reinstate our old bingo license on this for this. So.
Thank you. Do any other members of the council have any questions? All right, this is a public hearing. Would anyone like to address the city council on this matter? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing.
Mayor,
Councilmember Dolan?
motion?
Yes.
I move to recommend that the Arizona Department of Revenue approve a Class B bingo license for the Veterans of Foreign Wars, VFW, Post 9401.
I'd like to second that motion, Mr. Mayor.
We have a motion from Councilmember Dolan and a second from Councilmember Grote. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we're ready to vote.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. Congratulations. Moving on to item 8.2, a Series 10 beer and wine store liquor license for Kmart, 1870 McCulloch Boulevard. Ms. Williams.
Mayor and City Council, Ronald Wickenheiser has applied for a Series 10 beer and wine store liquor license for Kmart located at 1870 McCulloch Boulevard. All posting requirements have been met, all fees have been paid, and no objections were received. Based on the above, staff recommends approval of the liquor license.
Thank you. Are there any questions of the council? All right, this is a public hearing. Would anyone like to address the City Council on this matter? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember McCoy?
motion?
Yes.
I move to recommend that the Arizona Department of Liquor License and Control approve a Series 10 beer and wine store liquor license for Kmart at 1870 McCulloch Boulevard.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember McCoy and a second from Councilmember Koch. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we're ready to vote. I didn't pick who won on that one. The computer told me. Yes. All right, next item is, oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Motion carries 7-0.
The computer told me that too, so sorry for all that. All right, item 8.3, introduce ordinance number 19-1221, amending City Code Section 10.12.170, commercial vehicles on residential streets regarding public service and public safety emergency vehicles. Ms. Gary.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. A new state law went into effect that prohibits the city from restricting certain motor vehicles from being parked on a street. This includes public service vehicles and public safety vehicles of a certain size. The statute goes on with additional specifications. This required the city code to be amended to allow for these vehicles to be parked there if they meet the statute. And so staff would like to introduce this item tonight. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you. Do any members of the council have any questions for Ms. Gary? Seeing none, this is a public hearing. Would anyone like to address the City Council on this matter? All right, we'll close the public hearing.
Mayor,
Councilmember Koch?
motion?
Yes.
I move to introduce ordinance number 19-1221, amending City Code Section 10.12.170, commercial vehicles on residential streets.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Koch and a second from Vice Mayor Lane. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we're ready to vote.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. Item 8.4 is adopt ordinance number 19-1220, amending City Code Section 2.12.090, elections, scheduling regarding primary election day. Ms. Williams.
Mayor and City Council, during the recent legislative session, Senate Bill 1154 was passed into law, moving the primary election date as one of the 4 consolidated election dates from the 10th Tuesday prior to the general or special election to the first Tuesday in August. And it also moved the candidate nomination filing period from 120 days, from it was 90 to 120 days, now it is 120 to 150 days prior to the election. The fall primary date will now be August 4th, 2020. The general effective of this bill was August 27th, and this ordinance was introduced on August 27th as well. Happy to answer any questions.
Excellent, thank you. Do any members of the council have any questions before we open the public hearing? Yeah, the most notable item for citizens will be campaign signs. We will see them sooner and for longer. So the general election will stay in the same date, but signs will go up a little bit earlier and obviously stay up for a little bit earlier because of this change. So any other comments or questions from council? All right, this is a public hearing. Would anyone like to address the City Council on this matter? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember McCoy?
motion?
Yes.
I move to adopt ordinance number 19-1220, amending the City Code Section 2.12.090, elections and scheduling.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember McCoy and a second from Councilmember Dolan. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we're ready to vote.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. Item 8.5 is approve sole source purchases of wastewater treatment plant parts from Schreiber LLC. Mr. Sledabo?
Okay, there we go. Good evening, council, mayor. Thank you for having me. Let me see if I can figure this one out. No. Okay. So what we're doing here is I'm here asking you to approve the sole source purchase for over $50,000 for Schreiber LLC. They are the original manufacturer of two of our treatment plants that we have, the Island Treatment Plant and Mulberry. So my pictures won't be as bright and cheery as the Go Lake Havasu, but all those visitors that come here, they all use the restroom. It has to go somewhere, and this is where it goes. So this is a Mulberry treatment plant. We did a rehabilitation on this last year, and as you can see, you know, the diffusers are the major expense of this. They're down on the bottom, and they go around. They add air. They add dissolved oxygen to our aeration basins. So this one is just an example. You know, it's a 1.6 million gallon basin that we have over at Mulberry. We have actually two of them there, and the one at the Island is 3.6 million. It's a single basin, has a double bridge. The expenditures that we're going for, you know, that we have budgeted this year are the diffusers. That's the major cost, about $130,000 for those. We have, you know, some drop tubes, and those are the right here. These drop tubes, they take a beating after years, and so, you know, we periodically need to replace them. Here another is the same one. Everything basically under the bridge is rotating. It continually rotates, you know, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So the parts wear out rather quickly. The diffusers typically last about 24 to 30 months, and we have it budgeted to cycle and replace those in those intervals. Or if we notice something like we did right here, our dissolved oxygen levels weren't being saturated by the bugs, we'll just call them, in the basins. So we knew there was an issue, and we started hunting around, and we got lucky here. And on this one, you can see that this rack of diffusers and all this other debris that is generally hair, but the diffusers, the wraps of the rubber around them had deteriorated, and we weren't getting the saturation that we needed. So here is a new looking one that we ended up that we repaired and put back into service. So this right now shows good air distribution. This is what happens and what it's supposed to look like. You got good air saturation. They're small, fine bubbles coming in there, rather than large, you know, large, like, I guess, gumball bubbles. We don't want that because, you know, the population of the bugs that we have in there, they like the small diffused air, and right here it looks good. So, and here's the double bridge, and like I said, there's 3.6 million gallons of poo. I don't know how else to say it, but yeah, and I can answer any questions if you'd like.
Excellent. So for a clarification for folks watching, this is a planned expense that we have. The council's already adopted the budget with these items included, but city council per city code has to see anything that we spend with one vendor over $50,000. So that's what we're here to talk about today. So it's already planned and prepared, but that's what the action that's happening today. With that, do any members of the council have any questions? Vice Mayor Lane?
I have a comment.
Okay.
I just want to let you know that I am not the cause of all that hair in the bottom of that basin. Thank you.
Did everybody hear that? If I may, just one quick question.
Yes.
And I know it's all been approved and everything, you know, in our budget and so forth, but for the people who are as curious as I am, the microbial population that we need to take care of, wanting to have the smaller oxygenation bubbles, if you will. What does it mean for us operationally when we don't have the proper aeration and we start getting the larger bubbles and so forth? And we probably are reducing our microbial population, but what is a negative impact for us operationally?
So we don't necessarily reduce the bacteria population. We actually increase it, and it comes in a bad way. We get stock silicates and other bacteria that foul. You know, if you come in, you know, periodically, you know, we'll get hit with, we call it a hot load is the term, and that's if it has. I see Councilman Verlaine, but anyway, that means, you know, there's a higher chemical oxygen demand, and we can't produce enough air, so then we get an upset process. Then we have to waste more, we have to add more air. You know, it's just added costs on the city. So, you know, and our budgets. You know, so hopefully that answered everything.
Yeah, that's a pretty good answer. I mean, we don't want to get into the minutia of it, but yeah, I was just kind of curious, maybe just to get an idea of how big of an impact it has negatively when we don't have the equipment functioning properly.
Well,
you know, like what kind of a hassle that is for you, and what does that mean in terms of dollars and cents?
Well, dollars and cents, you know, it can increase, you know, our electricity by up to 20% if we have to run the air longer, because the air is our biggest expense at all of our treatment plants, and that's why we're always looking, you know, to improve somehow. So we're constantly, we monitor this 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we look at the, you know, these numbers. So the fiscal impact can be huge. So, you know, we try to stay on top of it as best we can. We're generally pretty good. There are issues once in a while, but if we can catch it early, and that's why we test every single day, you know, 6 days a week. Actually, Sunday we don't typically, unless we're in violation, and that's the only time that we'll test on Sunday. So it's, you know, time-wise, dollars-wise, you know, it all costs, you know, it can be 20 to 30% more on air if we have to do that. And we waste more, we haul more sludge to the dump. There's quite a bit of impact, you know, that we have to stay on top. Sometimes we're working late into the day, you know, to figure it out, you know, because there really is no exact science. We don't know. We get, this plant here gets 1.1 million gallons a day. You know, how many droplets of, you know, antifreeze are in that? We don't know. 1 gallon of antifreeze will basically kill this population, you know, in that basin.
Sorry, don't have any more questions. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Do any other members of the council have any questions? All right, this is a public hearing. Would anyone like to address the city council on this matter? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing.
Mr. Mayor,
Vice Mayor Lane?
motion.
Yes.
I move to approve the sole source aggregate of purchases exceeding $50,000 for fiscal year 2019-2020 for wastewater treatment plant parts from Schreiber LLC.
I'll second the motion, Mr. Mayor.
We have a motion from Vice Mayor Lane and a second from Councilmember Grow. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we're ready to vote.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. Next item on our agenda is current events. Do any of the council members have any council committee reports?
I would just like to say that although Terrence already left, he does an incredible job. He's got the highest energy of any department head I've ever, just amazing what's going on there. So I just wanted to tell him how great it is and what a small world it is. When we just got back from San Antonio, when we were in San Antonio, we met this gentleman that we were speaking with, and it came up where we live, and he said, oh,
My sister just bought a house in Lake Havasu. And as a matter of fact, she's going to be here tomorrow. So it's like we met some new people that had moved here, clear in San Antonio. So it is a small world. We're reaching lots of people, and that's very exciting.
Excellent. The travels of Councilmember McCoy. She's on Fox and Friends in New York and meeting new people in San Antonio. Do any other council members have a council committee report? All right. Moving on to item 10, which is our final call to the public this evening. Again, this is the opportunity for citizens to address the city council on any matter within the jurisdiction of the city. Would anyone like to address this? If so, you just make your way to the podium. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Item 11 is our future meetings. Our next meeting is Tuesday, September 24th, 2019 at 6 p.m. It's a regular meeting. Following that, on Tuesday, October 8th, 2019 at 6 p.m., we'll have another regular meeting. Are there any future discussion items from any of the council members? All right, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. We have a motion and a second. We are adjourned. Thanks for being here.